In this video, mums and dads share their experiences of giving birth at a birth center. They talk about why they chose this birth setting. They say that the midwifery group and limited medical interventions were part of the appeal of having a baby in a birth center. These parents suggest visiting a birth center to help in your decision-making.
We didn't know what a birth center was until we were shown around by the midwife at the hospital.
I guess because we've got private health, we thought private.
That was the initial idea.
That was the initial idea. But then listening to our friends, we liked the idea of the midwifery group, and that was through the birth centre.
I knew it was an option at the hospital, at the public hospital. There was either the labour ward or the birth centre, and it was a good option for me for a few reasons. Firstly, I was hoping to have a natural birth, and I felt like that was a space where I would not be offered lots of interventions. I also liked that it was a sort of continuity of care, so I was going to meet the midwives who were going to be at the birth during my pregnancy, and it felt kind of more intimate and more personal.
So there were 4 midwives in the group practice, and one of them is, I guess, your main one, and you can get any of the 4 during your birth, depending on who's on shift, and luckily for me, my main one was on. So
you were scheduled for an appointment.
I was actually
at
scheduled
the same time that we got there.
Yeah.
So the atmosphere was good because she was there.
She was there. It was very calming. Like there was no, I guess, there weren't the monitors and the things that might scare you, or it was like being sort of at home in a way.
I chose to have my baby at the birth centre because I felt it was a good middle ground between a home birth and a hospital birth. I had all my antenatal care at the birth centre, so that was also nice, going to visit the place where I was going to have the baby for all my antenatal care, and also hearing women having their babies while I was going for my appointments was really good, because we don't get that culturally. We don't get to hear women having babies, so it's quite confronting at first, so I really liked that.
The support was good beforehand. The antenatal classes were good because we got to make friends with people that were in the same situation as us. The midwives, I thought they were great the whole way through, and including during the birth, of course. We got there and the midwife was there waiting, and everything was all set up.
She had all the options ready, so the bath was full, the bed and the floor, so we could choose sort of where we wanted to go. I would recommend having a baby in a birth centre, but I guess it all depends on the person as well. So it may not always be the option if there's medical complications or risks, but I found it a beautiful experience, and something that I guess I'm pretty proud of in a way.
I liked that water birth was an option because I wanted to keep all my options open, and I think I also felt the security of knowing that if I did need anything else, it was just across the hall and it was all there and available to me if I needed it. I guess the cons to it are that I knew that if it was full or if it was closed, I'd need to go to the labour ward, and also that if I did want any more pain relief, like an epidural or anything, or if any intervention needed to happen for me or the baby, that we would need to get transferred. What was great about the birth centre was that nobody else was coming in, so they've got a double bed and it's all kind of very homely there, and my husband and I were able to stay the night in the room where we had the baby together and spend our first night as a family all together, which was really nice.
Follow-up care from the midwives. At home, they would come and see us and check up everything was going well.
I had home care from the midwife. I think about 3 or 4 visits over the space of a week. I think that wherever someone's most comfortable and feels the safest is where they'll birth best. So if they're not sure about any particular setting, I would say explore other settings and other avenues.
Have a look at the birth centre before, maybe see what options are available at the hospital before you make the decision. And there are hospital tours. So.
And talk to people that have been through the birth centre, private, or the other options.